the neutral.
I become.
You don't want Nutriloaf?
No, I've become claustrophobic in my old age, and Nutriloaf is not in my diet. So hence, because I realize incarceration will not work for me, I'm not going to do anything that's going to put me, even temporarily. Just the idea of being closed in really bothers me.
Yeah.
Now, I would have bought her gear. I would have drove her there. I would have been like, you go, sister. Matter of fact, I probably would have been like, we need to plan some bond because we know an arrest is coming with this. I mean, I'm willing to orchestrate the whole act. But to step out there and to do that, no.
You're not going to get cuffed.
I'm not going to get cuffed. I'm not getting cuffed for the call. And that makes me, that probably makes me sound like just really like just
You're not
raggedy.
going to get cuffed for the calls, Maya.
Here's the thing. It depends on what it really is. If it's, boots on the ground, I'm okay with that. I would take place in a rally. I would. And if I got arrested because of that, I'm fine with that. I have no problem joining people to stand up and say something, but just something like this extreme, it's just not. Well, first of all, I can't climb nothing, so that's why I was just really out of my scope because I can't accomplish that task. I would have been halfway on the pole like this, and they'd have been like, "Okay, just pull her down." The flag would still have been up there. So now I'm gonna get arrested just because of the action, and I didn't complete the task. Right. So for me, it's not that kind of action that I would follow through on. But I commend her for it.
Sure.
I'm just more of I'm gonna be at a rally. I'll speak. I'll be on the radio and talk about it.
We marched before. Remember?
We marched. I've marched.
We
I'm all for.
Yes.
I'm just, and if I end up in cuffs because
we're not
something
just
like
talkers.
That,
we were doers. We used to march. Yes.
If I get arrested because of something like that, I'm fine with that. But those extreme things, like I'm never going to go throw a Molotov cocktail in somebody's window.
No,
I'm not going to do stuff like that because it's just not. It's not my personality. But I'm all for the rally, the cause. Get out there. If I get arrested, I get arrested. Don't put too many of us in the same cell because then I'm gonna be all freaked out about that. Like, oh my God, space out, everybody. I need my space in here. You stand in the corner. You stand in the corner.
I don't think they do it like that.
But I'm talking to them.
I think that's the movies. I don't think they throw everybody. I think that's the movies. Do they?
You think they have that many individual cells for people? Heck no.
Oh.
See,
yes, they do.
Hence, I've never been arrested.
See?
And I'm not trying to find out is the thing. But I commend her because it took, it took this young woman to say, look, let's show an example. Let's be an extreme. And you know what I've just found probably in the last year? That it's always these extreme measures that tend to capture people's attention. Mm-hmm. But this is one time that this calculated risk was worth it.
It was.
If she goes on GoFundMe right now and asks for money for her defense, I'm gonna give some money to it.
Absolutely.
I really am. Now, don't go out and buy anything. Pay towards your defense. But I'm going to support her.
I don't think she would do that. She doesn't strike me as a person. Yeah, I know. But yeah, she doesn't. But Michael Moore's got it covered.
But it's the extreme things. It's just when people go out and like break in the business. I'm not supporting that. I don't believe in that. That doesn't solve anything. But this was a singular moment in time that had value and it had worth. Mm-hmm. And to me, she stood up in a big way.
Let's put her on a $2 bill.
You can't just, she's done enough. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. It was a big thing to do.
She can't get a coin.
No, not even a coin.
She really?
No. Chuck E. Cheese.
See, Maya.
What? I mean, that's look,
Maya.
What? That's not enough. I'm sorry. That's like you. Come on, you can't look at the likes of someone like Harriet Tubman or Rosa Parks.
She 10.
I'm just saying, you can't.
You
got to do a little bit more before I put you on currency. Agree.
Okay.
But you get mad respect from me from really stepping up.
Yes, she
and
did.
Taking it
that
down.
was brave.
That was very brave. Now, you know what? And kudos to Michael Moore, who is always on the fence of people not liking him. Mm-hmm. But Michael Moore has always been outspoken. He's always been willing to step on the side of social justice. I remember the first documentary I saw of him, Michael and Me. Did you ever see that? He talked about the decline of the Detroit auto industry and how so many people were just kind of laid to waste.
Right.
And, people, big industry really didn't care. But just how that was a decline in Detroit. It was it was Roger and Me. Roger Was Me was the name of the documentary. And then he went on to do the thing about 9/11.
That shut Detroit down.
It did.
Oh, my gosh. That was such a part of there. That was just a thriving thing there. That's what Detroit was, the Motor City. It completely shut that
It was
city
also
down.
That has really been huge for them. But Michael Moore has always been a social activist in his own way. He's usually used his films to do so.
Yeah, Columbine, he did.
He did that. He did the one about 9/11, which I thought was just... I know it's from his perspective, but he put a couple things out there. One of the best scenes is when George W. Bush is at a preschool reading books. And somebody walked up to him and I think whispered that the trade centers had been bombed, and he looked like a deer in the headlights.
Yes.
And took a while before he responded. Mm-hmm. So Michael Moore has always... Well, I want to be like Roger Moore. All these names, same name. People are screwing me up today. It's Monday. Has always been... He's used his platform wise. He's never tried to kind of venture out and do like feature films. Documentaries have always been his thing. And I'll be curious if he's going to take some of this current stuff going on. I might just have to tweet him.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
It's like, hey, you may never answer this, but you've always been one to challenge anything in the status quo that's about the people. are you ready to make a film about this? Because I think right now that might be one of the biggest projects he'd ever want to embark upon, talking about the American fabric.
Right.
And everything that talks about from the Confederate flag. I mean, the next conversation we're going to dive into, to me, is at the essence. The Awful Truth is that segment.
Yes.
Is at the essence of how things function in this country and how passive aggressiveness, and this is why I commended Bree Newsom, because she wasn't passive aggressive.
Right.
She made a statement in a big way to say, I'm not only okay with this, I'm going to show you how much I'm not okay with this.
Right.
And you know what? It took a woman to step up.
I'll do it.
Seems like every single time.
Yeah,
Fellas, I'm teasing you. You know what?
Not.
It was a good thing you didn't scale a pole, because something bad might have happened to you if you would have scaled the pole. Yes. So, a woman climbing a pole seems to be like it's kind of acceptable to a degree.
Yeah. That's why the guy said, he's like, you go up there. I'm not going. I'll just hold your rope, but you go up there. Yeah. So her accomplice was actually a man. He's like, no, you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Me sliding down the pole won't have the same effect as you. Anyways, but big ups to Bree. But
yes.
Let's let her over into the Awful Truth and set this up, because when we come back from the break, we will play the audio that accompanies this. So, they always say, words are powerful, and most people don't read a lot of stuff. So when I came across this title that said, Georgetown professor has no respect for your ancestors, he tells a white woman. Well, for the first part, I thought he addressed his class and said that. I'm like, okay, that's inappropriate. You got to sometimes, as an instructor, you may feel a certain way. But it turns out he was actually doing an interview on NPR.
Okay.
And a caller called in to talk about the Confederate flag and tried to deflect, but then went as far to say in the conversation with him how, she loves her ancestors for what they did and the legacy they left behind. And he laid into her. And to mixed reviews, the thing about it is he said it just like a Georgetown law professor would. Disrespect was probably the strongest word he used in the statement. And when I found the context that he used it in, I had no problem with it, with what he said. Because given what she said, I thought his rebuttal was spot on in what he said. And then obviously this caught fire. NPR, they just know how to rally folks up, don't they?
First Kim K and now this.
National Public Radio knows how to keep their donorship coming in.
Yes.
Keeping it raw and real.